Chances are, if you're watching this video, you are in college or you obtained a college degree. There's also a very high likelihood that you have borrowed from student loans. According to collegeaffordability.urban.gov, 70% of students who receive a bachelor's degree have education debt by the time they graduate. Now that is a huge number of people. Now, why are student loans so prevalent? It is because college tuition has become too expensive and it still continues to do so. It used to be cheaper to obtain a degree. Back then, you could work off college as you went. At the time, education wasn't such a cash grab from universities. According to educationdata.org, tuition in 2022 for four-year institutions are 37 times higher than in 1963. After adjusting for inflation, college is 747.8% more expensive than in 1963. But that's been over the last 6 years. In order to make this fair, let's look over the last, say, 10 years. So from 2010 to 2020, college tuition has raised by 15%, counting inflation. 15% is a lot better than 747%. A lot better. Yet, 15% is still a huge number of money when we're counting potentially thousands of dollars. Now, why has this become an issue? Over time, more and more of the U.S. population are going to a higher education to obtain degrees. As stated on bestcolleges.com, 42% of Americans 25 or older have obtained a college degree. If college tuition keeps rising, that number will have a very, very hard time growing. What will happen once the tuition raises to a point where college is unaffordable to the average person? Many Americans already have to resort to student loans in order to afford their education. And many of those same Americans will be paying them off for several years to come. Which brings me to my next point. Colleges have a subtle expectation for us to either pay with student loans or get financial help from our parents. Those whose parents have went to college have an easier time affording college than those whose parents never attended college. Will this eventually create some kind of gap in society? I believe it definitely has potential to do so. If college tuition keeps increasing, then it will force jobs that require degrees to pay more. At some point, only the children of graduates could afford tuition without the help of student loans. But by that point, student loans would be even more expensive, causing more debt to be racked up in the process. Another outcome that could be present as tuition rises is people may no longer see college as a worthy investment. This would cause a huge shortage in the workforce. It could become harder to find potential doctors, engineers, and other workers. This could collapse society as a whole. Imagine going to the ER and having to wait for emergency treatment since there is a shortage of medical professionals. Luckily, in the event of this mass shortage, colleges would be forced to reduce tuition. However, it should not take a mass shortage to allow them to do so. College prices have put many in dependence of student loans. Those whose families cannot afford tuition will be forced to withdraw from student loans. As I stated before, 70% of students graduate with student debt. Something so essential as obtaining an education should not require loans. As stated by educationdata.org, the average federal student loan debt balance is $37,787. With bills and payments, it takes a very, very long time in order to work that money off. Student loans can be partially to blame for this increase in tuition. According to cato.org, the average tuition increase associated with the expansion of student loans is as much as 60 cents per dollar. Student loans have allowed colleges a reason to inflate their prices. It is inflated so much to the point to where the average graduate has student debt. Perhaps a solution to the inflated cost is to lower the amount granted by student debt. In no way am I advocating for free college. I know that there is much more to that process. The point I'm trying to make is that college tuition has increased beyond a point it should be. College squeezes as much money out of us as they can, and it just simply is not right. Slowly reducing the cost of tuition will benefit society as a whole.